PPT Fornatero, Parliamentarian Adams,
Hey.
and that should be the one.
Ready for exec cab.
That is exec cab.
Yeah, we're at the
All right, now for senators. Senator Palermo,
She will not be here.
Senator Reed,
Here.
Senator Slaninko. Am I saying the name wrong?
I have not gotten anything from her.
Senator Mangus.
She's
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
I know
not
that
Senator
one.
Lunch.
Yeah. Senator Pliska,
Hey, what up?
Senator Dixon,
here.
Senator Mahone,
Here.
Senator Carey is excused. Senator Brooks, Senator Osteen, Senator Rangel excused, told me. Senator Curdy, Senator Sala,
Here.
Senator Mendoza,
Here.
Senator Cybulski, Senator Ball,
Here.
Senator Richards.
Also will not be here.
Got it. And with that, that is roll call. We will go to the approval of the minutes. These are the minutes up on the screen. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Dixon, would I have a second for that? Senator Reed? Do I have to hit the gavel for that? Or do I just roll?
If you
Okay,
roll.
that's what I thought.
Smack it.
Skip it? Okay.
No, hit it every time.
Oh, hit it
Yeah,
every
just
time.
for-
Just
Okay.
hit it
Okay.
every 5 seconds.
It's all good.
Anytime someone's
It's my
talking and
gavel.
you
I'm
don't
just
want
gonna
to hear them,
smack it
just-
every time I talk.
Yeah.
Coffee, twisted quarter.
With that, we will take it to a vote.
Question, these are not our minutes.
Oh.
This is
No, it's not.
No, it's.
this is February.
Oh shit.
That's January.
This is
That's-
February. It's February 3rd. This is
Yeah,
January
y'all.
27th.
That's from last week.
It's February 3rd. We didn't have a meeting yet in February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's February
Yeah.
3rd. That's the days, or that's the minutes of last.
It says that Senator Dixon is excused, and they're here.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I put up the wrong.
From last
We
week.
usually do the minutes from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
They
the agenda is
wasn't there.
next after.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is- this is
Right.
right.
Yeah, because
This is
next is
correct.
the
This is
agenda for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm trying to hit F11 to go back to the first.
Press the little thing at the very top, the like on the top left. It's like the play
Oh,
button
this
in
thing.
the
Sorry. I kept spamming F11, but she wasn't working. I thought that was the whole screen. So with that, we'll take it to the approval of the minutes. We will take it to a vote. So all in favor?
Can we see the minutes?
Oh my gosh, you were so right.
Here you go.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Any
Those weren't the minutes.
any abstentions?
I think they are.
No, they're not. Read it.
That's
These are the
from
minutes
last
from
meeting,
January
last meeting.
27th. That was our
That
last
we
meeting.
approved?
I definitely said that
Okay.
at the first open floor at the last meeting.
Wait, so these are the minutes from last week?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
approving
Okay.
last
We're
week.
all-
Are you still opposed?
No. No.
So all in. Okay, so
I think
can I have a recount then? So all of
I don't
those.
think we need a recount,
Everybody.
just a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Approved.
Isn't it just one person and then another
I
person?
thought you had to count.
No, that's when it's like a big vote.
No, you do it for you do it every.
we do.
Because this meeting hasn't happened yet.
You see a motion to approve and a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to get a vote for this
No.
one. Is that just for
No.
everything else?
That's for new business.
So it's a.
I know it's for business stuff, but I wasn't sure if it was for everything else.
You're good.
And all right, next we move on to the approval of the agenda. Can I get someone to a motion for that? Senator Reid, a second. And with that, the approval of the agenda is complete. It's okay with that. Now we'll move to our first open floor. Is there anything for our first open floor today?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but the poster advertising the DC trip in like the hallway on the second floor of Lawrence, like next to the cafe, has the wrong dates on it.
It's been updated,
Yeah.
it needs reprinted.
It
Yeah,
has-
it's already
yeah.
sent out, yeah.
Because I was just there like,
I don't know if they're gonna change the glass case, but we fixed all the social promotion.
I did see that. I just wanted to, in case it was not brought to anyone's attention, that particular poster
Yeah, no,
says it's okay.
Yeah, we fixed that in like social marketing. However, in the print, it is too late and too close to the deadline to get it reprinted or re-put out. So
Right.
therefore, as a mistake on our comms committee's behalf.
I was gonna say
If you want to.
it was my understanding that Keeley was going to send somebody to like black out the date. So if that has not been done yet, I will reach out to Keeley after this meeting and confirm that it does.
Shit, I'll do it myself. Let me in.
It's other things.
Is there anything else for our first open floor? No? Alright, we will move on to the reports of the executive cabinet. First, President McLaughlin.
Alright. Hello everybody. So, as you all are aware, I spent this weekend at the Ohio Student Government Summit with a few members of our executive cab and a few of our senators. It went really well. There was a lot to be gained. A couple of things we kind of put together. A couple of universities had a system in place where individual student organizations, specifically like their identity groups, they're like the SUs and AAPI, things like that, had like designated chairs and like they had like set aside seats for the Senate for appointed members from each of those organizations. It's something we would have to go through the actual process of like seeing how that would logistically work, but I think it's something that could potentially be an interesting addition. Additionally, something I noticed is that we are very lucky to be both in Pennsylvania and to be a small private university, because Ohio is currently dealing with a lot in terms of the federal government's like anti-DEI like executive orders. They are losing their entire DEI department at their school. They also have been forced to take down any pride flags from their student union. Yeah, it's looking a little bleak. There's what is essentially like Ohio's version of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill is currently on the path to getting passed, and so they a lot of what they were talking about was sort of trying to deal with that. That's also part of why I wanted to bring up the potential for seats set aside for those identity groups. We'll work out some more details before I bring up anything here. But I think potentially it could be worthwhile to ensure that those seats continue to exist in whatever way we are able to ensure that that exists. Obviously, as I said, we are both Pennsylvania and a private university, so we are less directly affected by it, but it's still something that's going on.
Speaking on like DEI and stuff like that, what's gonna happen with like the whole Title IX thing going on with Trump right now?
So the university has basically gone back to the 2020 policy, effective immediately. Basically, all universities are required to use the 2020 policy when it comes to Title IX. So that is what we are doing effectively. For you all, what that meant, going back to 2020, meant that if the incident occurred on campus, it was dealt with through Title IX. If it occurred off campus, it was dealt with through student conduct, because the university was not required any longer through Title IX to deal with off-campus incidents. We as a university said, if you are a student, no matter what, we will always deal with it, on or off campus. So that changed in the last administration. Everything was dealt with through Title IX. Arguably, we are going back to the 2020 regs, which means on and off. We will, in the long run, so that you all know, we can make the decision, even with the 2020 regs, to change it so that all Title IX cases, all sexual misconduct cases, will occur through the Title IX office, so that students are not confused. Do I have to go here? Do I have to go there? What do I have to do? In the future, all cases will go through the Title IX office. We are in the process of ironing out all of those details to make that happen. But for right now, any incident that occurs, on or off campus, if the student is a university student, the university will deal with it without a doubt. And that's where we're currently at.
So yeah, very good clarification to have. Yeah, it's scary times right now. I'm not gonna be too civic about that. But we are in a better position than a lot of people at a lot of universities could be, which unfortunately was really brought home over this. In the same vein, we had an opportunity to network with a couple of universities and their student governments, which I think will be really important. One of the big things was I had an opportunity to speak with Seton Hill. I made that making a mistake. Seton Hill. I remember a few years back there was a the Globe reported on that our schools were looking to share some resources and work in closer connection, and so I think it's good that we make those connections with other local universities, especially ones which will continue to have close relationships with ours. On top of that, separately from that, I believe Dylan spoke more to it, so I'll just read his when it's his turn. But we did speak to Amariah at VSU about more details of the DC trip, which I will speak more to when we get to Dylan's section. I'll leave that for now.
Alrighty. Do you wanna? I mean, you can.
I don't know why I
continue,
said that.
Vice
It's literally-
President Peterson next. I can give you the intro. Vice
Yeah,
President Peterson.
All right.
You have to do a Dylan impression.
I have no idea what to do.
That was devious. I'm snitching.
Kyle and I had a meeting on Friday with Amariah from VSU to discuss some loose ends of the DC trip. We have yet to revive the waiver, unfortunately, but the sale office is collecting $10 to hold your spot on the trip. We went to OSGS this weekend, as I said. We had a very good informative trip where we shared a lot of ideas. Some major things I took away that I would like to discuss with you further is the importance of transitioning between administrations as well as club representation in our spaces. I began to consider the possible option of clubs having SGA representatives. As well, I wanted to discuss with ExecCab the template of transitioning documents, and we can do that this week. Another thing I'm considering is the implementation of a mentorship role that would be held by someone that could give guidance to the exec members. If anyone else that was at the summit could discuss that a little further, I would appreciate it, along with any and all thoughts and opinions on these options or other options. Thank you all, and have a good day. So in terms of transitioning, the whole sort of theme of this was passing the torch, and a big thing we kept hearing about was that like a lot of time kind of sort of gets wasted in administrations where they move to the next year and there isn't proper transition materials in place to make that a smooth transition. That is something we want to work on, and it's something that ExecCab I will work closer with you during our individual meetings, but we want to definitely make sure we have a smooth transition so that more time can be spent on what's next than sort of catching everybody up. As far as the mentorship program, would you want to speak more of that in your section? I'll let Elliot speak more to that, but it was something we discussed about potentially having some sort of position where a person who was a pre-existing member of the organization could take on a recognized role to share how this all sort of works. I'll let that be it for now.
Alrighty, Chief of Staff Gersinger.
So I should be having a meeting with Kyle and Dylan this week if we can find a time this week to talk about discussing the date for Pioneer Community Day. I met with Elliot previously when we kind of talked about with the budget and kind of how maybe the event could run. So once I have the date, like I said, I'll put out for like an ad hoc if anyone wants to help plan, and don't feel obligated, but if you want to have a say in the cool things that will be at Pioneer Community Day, I would definitely say reach out to be part of that ad hoc when I send that email out. Other than that, I've been doing my one-on-ones with ExecCab. Everyone's doing a great job at ExecCab, so that makes my job really easy. But yeah, any questions or concerns anyone has, as always, you can come to me or Robert or Dylan or anyone, and we'll get that settled. And that's about it for me.
Thank you. Parliamentarian Adams.
Hey all. So today is the day that we look through that huge ass document of the bylaws. So I hope all of you have had the chance to look at it before. I will do the best that I possibly can, but it is a very large document. So we're gonna hope for the best. So we have that to look at, and I will not be having my office hours tonight from 6 to 8 because I have rehearsal for a scene that I'm directing. So I'm just putting that out there.
Do you want to come up for the?
I will.
I was gonna say. DEI Chair Williams.
Nothing to report besides had another meeting with Tessa.
Thank you. Reporting Secretary Steiner.
I also have nothing really to report other than I had my one-on-one with Catherine on Tuesday.
Alright, thank you. Treasurer Beard.
So I met last week with Kyle and Dylan and Keely and Michael, and we kind of just discussed, obviously this past funding period has been a little bit tighter than we've seen earlier this year and in previous years. So I'm going to be working with Keely and the Finance Committee to develop a little bit more regulation on that. Just really structuring how we recognize the different organizations that we have on campus, especially as more created, in terms of how much we can fund them and how much they can invest in things like that. So I'll keep you updated on how that process goes. Attended OSGS this weekend to speak more on what Kyle/Dylan brought up. The concept of the mentorship role is something that other universities have implemented, where either one or two recently graduated students or just former SGA executive cabinet members are appointed to take on a mentorship role with the incoming cabinet and really train them more in a one-on-one setting than I think we typically have lined up with the way that our elections are outlined, and be able to lend guidance throughout the year instead of just kind of leaving everybody high and dry at the end of April. So we'll be talking more about that and obviously getting y'all's opinions.
Alright, thank you. Comm Director Bradley.
Currently, the only new thing I have to report is just updates on, working on scheduling podcasts, filming with my busy schedule and other people's schedules, and, oh, thanks for a great, I enjoyed the event last week. That was very nice.
Thank you.
So, otherwise, nothing else to report.
Thank you. Graphic Design Coordinator.
I also don't have much to report on. Marketing was finished. I fixed the DC graphic, which that was a whole thing. But we resolved it the best we could. We are still trying to schedule our committee meetings, and me and Hunter have to refilm our podcast episode because my footage back on. It's okay, but yeah, I think that's the only one.
Okay, thank you. And then President Pro Tempore Fornatero. Met with Kath, had a little combo or one-on-one. Got the stuff for the event, picked that up. We had the event, that was fun. It was a little fun to get together. That's pretty much it for my report. Moving on to reports of the standing committees, Rules Committee.
So I'm currently working on a calendar setup. Christian, Sienna, and I have exchanged times in which we're available to meet with club leaders, and so basically setting that up as a way for club leaders to sign up to come and meet us in the office to come and edit their constitution, and that could be any of us individually, it could be a duo, it could be all three of us, it just entirely depends. So I'm currently working on that, and I'm hoping to have it up and running either by the end of this week or at the start of next week. And something I forgot to mention in my parliamentarian report, I'm finally meeting with Keely. We finally worked that out tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Because that's the only time that we were available.
Finance Committee.
We convened an emergency finance committee meeting, Ohio edition. Basically my whole committee was at OSGS, so over the weekend.
How big was this?
It was during lunch, right?
Oh, it was just a normal lunch
We were
break.
sitting or around roundtable, and I said, all right, guys, we're having an emergency meeting. But we had some updates to what we had spring one funding, and just made some like initial decisions that we'll be talking about.
Thank you. Communications committee.
Working around getting these meetings together, but you know we're working hard on editing the episodes we've been filming, and yeah,
We'll let you win the meetings.
they do. We just have to figure out. We actually don't have a matching time, so we have to figure out. We're gonna work. We're making it work, guys. Okay. I love you all.
Student Innovation Committee. It's just me. It's so weird just saying that out loud. We we met with the Drew again, and we kind of had like another combined like little meeting. Looked at more restaurants and like more stuff for the multicultural fair, and yeah, that was pretty much it for me. DEI committee.
Pretty much echoing the report. Yeah. Met with student inno about restaurants and catering. That's about it.
All right. Now we move into reports of the senators. Are there any reports?
So yeah, we went to
OSG.
Yeah, I mean like pretty much. Yeah, we got a lot of contacts for different schools. We have a lot of random small ideas that I forgot my notes, but we're probably gonna have a separate meeting just to talk about them to get at least something.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Yeah, went to OSGS this weekend. It was great. Passing the torch. Talked a lot about like conflict resolution, leadership, working with others. Got a lot of great ideas. I'm super on board for like the mentorship thing. That sounds like something that will be interesting to implement. The thing for having chairs for clubs is also something I'm interested in pushing. Those are the main things that I think I took away from this weekend.
I think the town hall is also really
I also was at OSTS and I got like a lot out of it. The mentorship program sounds great. One of the things I took away was that I noticed that some like student governments at that summit have a thing where some committees were open to non-senators to like drive up engagement, which I think is an interesting idea that I would like love to like talk about more. The other thing I wanted to talk about was like getting back on like campus bookstore because the prices there are expensive, but the merch is really nice. It's very good quality. So I think there's a conversation to be had about maybe renegotiating the bookstore contract to at least reduce prices. Maybe that would encourage students who are more encouraged, bring more money to the school, and get people like walking around like wearing things like merch and advertising the school for us.
Oh, I do have a question. What is the rule for immigration, like what's going on with other ICE things? I have some students who are international, athletes who are worried about getting deported, and I was hearing some conversation in class, so I was wondering what are the rules in that?
I know Ed Gainey is like really, he's like trying to keep ICE out of Pittsburgh and stuff like that. He's made multiple statements, but
Sure, but for our
Yeah.
students, they're here legally. And this is not any say on any which way of situation, but legally for the government, they are here because they have a student visa to be here. So they cannot be deported off campus. And it's only those that are not in the country legally that are at risk. Now, there are also some longer term conversations about who will be eligible to come to the country. That could be a whole different conversation. But once you are eligible and you have the right property, once you're here, you're here. So all of our students are supposed to be here, they're allowed to be here, and they will not be sent away. Whether it gets harder in the future to get that may be something different. Yeah.
I've heard of some on-campus students like having their student visas expire and then them going back to their countries and not being able to come back as students.
That may be possible. And that is definitely something that could be possible.
Is there like anything we could do like administration wise to kind of try to prevent that from happening as best as we can at a private university? Or
Yes, we can lobby our government like everybody else to make sure that the rules that are put in place. I mean, I don't mean this to be a smartass in any way. I really don't, right? But no, I mean, we follow the laws. So where our power is in lobbying to make sure those laws work the way we want them to. But once laws are passed, whether it's in the state or in the federal government, our obligation is to follow those laws. So as long as the government will tell us this is what is required for somebody to get their I-9 and to be able to come here as a student. Whatever that criteria is, that's what we have to follow. As long as they and we follow that criteria, they cannot be removed from the university while they're getting their education.
Yeah, so just in regards to the point that, as long as they have their visas, they can't be deported, that's officially true. That has not been what actually has happened in some instances. There have been documented cases at this point of ICE detaining and, if not deporting, at least attempting to deport people who are American citizens, even, let alone just people who are here on visas. So like they're not officially supposed to do that, but I don't think we should be dismissive of the fears that these students have that they may be targeted regardless, because people are being targeted regardless. And I think that it is important for us as an institution, whether that be the student government only or the university as a whole, to make it clear that like we're not going to accommodate harassment of students that go here. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I could go on, but I don't have to.
On that, I think we need a protocol for if we see ICE on campus. Do we have that? We should have one.
I just not usually well, it's not here. I know it's in my community. There's been reported as where I live, but the large numbers of population is Spanish, but can, but there's not it's a rare chance.
The question you have to ask yourselves is what policy does our university police have with local and federal authorities when it comes to coming to campus? Whatever that policy is, arguably that would be the policy that we would be using if some federal agency came on the campus to say. So our police department does have a policy for how to treat local, federal, etc. agencies that need access to our campus. The question would be to ask, what is that policy? And what do you think about that policy, obviously?
This is just a point of clarification because I don't know. Is there any sort of like international student organization on campus? Like, do they have any sort of, as far as you're aware, any sort of like organization for that specifically?
There is not a specifically registered, recognized organization. Rebecca Lee oversees international operations, for lack of a better word. She works with every international student to ensure that they have all the appropriate paperwork, documentation, et cetera, as they're coming, as they're going, all that kind of stuff. So she would be the one that would work directly with all of those students.
Okay.
And if there's anything coming in, it would start with her office.
Rebecca
Lee, yep,
okay.
Lee, yep, yep.
I will say that there is, that I am hoping to start working with a group of international students that do want to start an international students club on campus. So I'm hopefully going to be meeting them soon. So that sort of coalition for international students is happening.
Okay.
Is what it is.
How would people feel about putting out a statement, just like a know your rights type of thing? Like, you don't comply without signing a warrant from a judge, that sort of thing. That just kind of assuage people's fears a little bit. That's something.
Just something, yeah. Just shows acknowledgement.
And I think it's something that I'd already been talking to people about, but I think yes, we can. I want to start working on a statement. I will send you all more information on when, but I would like to find a time to sit down with anybody who's interested in and work on a statement of support, a statement opposed to any sort of harassment of our students on campus, international or otherwise, and also I think like having included like acknowledgement of what your rights are as somebody on this campus, I think is good to have. So if that's something we can talk about getting like a more solid time figured out. Additionally, it's a conversation we've been continuing to have during our executive cabinet meetings. Those are obviously not everyone can make them, but they're Friday at 11:45, and they're always open if anybody's interested in attending one of those. But yeah, I agree. I think it's important for us to speak up on this topic.
Are there any other reports of senators? Alright, we'll move to old business. I don't think we have any old business. So we can skip right to new business. This is the fun part. Emergency funding approval.
There is no documentation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. This is a technically emergency funding, but really an extension of Spring 1 allocations. There was a miscommunication between myself and Keely earlier in the semester, and so we have been able to allocate a bit more funding to Spring 1 allocations, not posthumously, you all know what I mean, with the Finance Committee and the decision that we made this weekend. The two items that we're looking to approve today are granting a $500, it's not triple M, it's not triple, but $500 to help pay for ballroom dance sport to enter the national dance competition taking place here in Pittsburgh. They've already received funding from Dean Palo to help support this, but the $500 will get them the rest of the way there. So that will be our first matter. If anybody has any questions.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve $500 to the ball? Is it the sport
Ballroom
bar
Dance
club?
Club.
Okay, ballroom dance sport club. One. Can I have a second? And then take it to a vote. So all of those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alright, then it passes to a 9-0 approval.
And part 2 of this is the other funding we would like to move forward is for Pinnacle Productions. If, as y'all may be aware, in the first round of funding, only one of their 2 licensed shows this semester were approved for funding just because of the ceiling that we had and making sure we were being fair to all the organizations. But with the introduction of more funding, we'd like to move forward with providing them $800 to, or sorry, not $800, it's been reduced since then, a $600 amount to pay for those rights for that production.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve $600 to Pinnacle Productions for our shows? A second? Is there any, or do I say the discussion then vote, or is it vote then discussion? Discussion then vote, okay. Is there any discussion about this? I really didn't say that last time.
So Finance Committee, basically the money that we're working with is the funding that was left over from fall 1-2. Miscommunication was that funding was not available to us after the fall semester, and it has since become clarified that it is. So the Finance Committee approved for, I think it was like $1,500, is that correct? Okay, $1,500 to be moved to this Spring 1, just to cover these 2 items. And after both of these were approved, then there will be $400 left just in that budget amount, but that would then get moved to our emergency funding line for things like the fuel surcharge that came up for the bus and things like that.
Alrighty, there's no more discussion, we'll take it to a vote. All of those in favor to approve? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alright, is there any more? Alrighty, we'll move on to the bylaw update. I'll give the floor to Arden.
is entitled to. Again, that was switching the order to how we normally present executive things during meetings, just to make it clearer. Committees were added DEI committee because there was quite literally nothing in that stuff. Here is our introduction, that stays the same. We added appendix E. Appendix E, we find that in a part of the document there was a note that said refer to appendix E. There was no appendix E, so we made an appendix E. Then moving on to general and administrative. This is essentially a bit more grammatical things that we were fixing. Switching up sections since we edited the Constitution.
I can't hear you.
What?
I can't hear you. Can
Well,
you speak louder?
okay.
Sorry.
Alright.
Don't be sorry.
Where did you last hear me? What?
I wasn't hearing you since the beginning.
Okay.
But, Riley told me what to
Alright,
talk
here. Kyle, can I have you scroll so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can like talk out of here?
I got you.
Okay. There you go, is this better? Yes. So essentially, like we were saying, grammatical, spelling, fixing sections, just so it correctly refers back to what we made in the Constitution. I switched that date to be something in 2024 because I believe it was a date from 2016. So just to make it a little bit more current. For office hours, switching that in order by descending orders, make it a little bit easier to read. Going. Yeah, not much change. See, referring to Appendix E, because we finally have an Appendix E. Woo! Whoa! Any fractions or the numbers and that sort of thing, I made a little note just to put the actual fraction in there, just so people gotta understand that better. Went through just so it's always referred to as the SGA instead of just SGA. Going more grammatical things. Then onto the executive cabinet. Again, changing order, changing articles to reflect back to the Constitution, and changing order to reflect how we move our meetings, and specifying that the President Pro Tem is appointed via anonymous election from the legislature. Again,
Am I allowed to be asking questions during this, or should I wait till after?
Wait.
Wouldn't
I was gonna say, because that's like the discussion part after the.
yeah, once we get to the discussion. Again, grammatical, adding numbers just so people can read that easier. Pretty much changing chief of staff. This chief of staff is just stuck with shall sustain special duties as determined by the office, but adding of meeting regularly with executive cabinet members, and giving any reports at any external meeting that in which they are presenting as the chief of staff of this year. Adding on to the DEI chair, again, because there was close to nothing of this in the old bylaws, so just adding giving reports on the meeting that they attend and working directly with administration, faculty, staff, departments, and things like that. Completely reworked the graphic design coordinator piece, just to make sure he has something, and reworked bits of the presentation before, just so that it's there. Then moving on to legislative body. Again, specifying sections, specifying excused absences, or unexcused absences, we should say.
members. Then we have committees, added an entire section for the DEI committees again, and the staffing. And adding that each vice chair is compensated with a $50 stipend. That's true. Communications committee, we didn't have to change that much. That the representative coordinator is also a part of the comps committee. Finance committee didn't change that much. Post committee didn't change that much. Student innovation didn't change that much. TEI, that's completely brand new. Drew worked with Kyle and Dylan and myself to make that entire section. Again, working with faculty, administration, and staff, maintaining confidentiality for any cases or anything like that. So with Drew's help, we were able to make that new section. Ad hocs didn't have to change much. Then we are here with elections. Just changing the order of the schools. Changing with the bylaw, we'll probably have to, no, we fixed that. Candidates running for president, vice president, serving at least one semester in SGA, in an executive cabinet or city-wide position, but I think we'll go back to specify, because we did specify like any sort of leadership position would make them eligible, so we'll go back and change that. Elections board didn't have to change much. Not much change here. Sections, numbers, very specific stuff. Then we have the organization policies. Again, more making everything neat. All recognized and chartered student organizations. Their executive board elections at the time of choosing this one semester. And turnover reports are turned in at least 2 weeks before the conclusion of the academic year. And 601.15 to specify that an organization that is in the process of being established, that they can ask me to speak on behalf of the members and to be there. 603 was the longest section of the law. Again, this specifies funding, this specifies emergency funding, things like that. This took like two almost 3 pages. That's all good. Yep. Then we have the academic term timeline. This is Appendix A. It specifies the 2 different sort of sections within the semester. When we meet 15 times each semester, one will considered in session, one will considered out of session. The next page we have the timeline of events. This essentially gives away what the first 4 weeks of SGA are supposed to look like. Then we have the documentation codes. Again, this is for specific project specific things. So there's a code chart for people and the bylaw that it refers back to. C, that's the oath of office, so when we were all sworn in, that's basically what we said.
We replaced all the he, she's with they.
And then there's, what'd you say?
Everyone has to do the oath again.
Unfortunately, no. No, y'all are fine. And then there's Appendix C, very short, click on that website. There's Appendix E, because we finally have an Appendix E.
Do you want me to click on the website links?
Yeah, you can do that.
This is
So
the freedom of it. I thought it was over with the tab. 1 second.
You guys look at this stuff.
Isn't it just about like how much they can share, like in like publicly?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act, basically saying that anyone can be open to the public, anyone can participate. We are the agency being open to the public.
Doesn't that go hand in hand with Appendix D?
They did, but we just decided to keep them separate
Okay.
since that was how it was laid out.
Sorry, I was just asking.
No, you're good. So, that is the long and short of it. We will now go into discussion and resolution.
I know y'all need to see me. Alright. Alright, let's go to 201.3. I don't believe the president can remove PPT at will.
Wait,
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
accurate.
How did you?
Wait, what? I
How
can
did
be
you know
fired?
that exactly?
It's called I looked at the email last night and I did it at 3 a.m.
Well, no, I meant why did she know exactly where it was?
Because I wrote it down.
Yeah. Hey, I was not there. I read the document. I just didn't. I just don't know.
So you know what happened.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I
The
saw it.
president cannot remove PPT at will.
Like,
It's the last one.
Right?
yeah, 'cause what if the president just doesn't like PPT?
I was gonna say they
Get out of office.
because it's voted in office.
I mean,
so if they were like, oh, I don't like
can do that
them.
for everything else,
Like-
but PPT was voted for, so.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like they would be the one that can't be
Yeah.
because they were voted by the people they spoke.
Exactly, they can't.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
you might be correct. Let me look
Here.
at this just to make sure.
Carl, you're on the Constitution.
Yeah, I was going to see if we had it in the Constitution.
Oh, to see if it says that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Wouldn't it be like at the top because it's the president's
Yeah, it
roles?
would be under your.
PPT was
I couldn't
voted
find myself.
Which is who you're eligible to appoint.
You're right.
oh
That's why I was.
Oh, so it's not
PPT.
even in the Constitution that.
Because
the
technically
president-
you're voted on by the senators, you're not voted on.
Exactly, so I shouldn't be able to get
Yeah.
fired by anyone because I was voted.
That would make sense. I mean, that would make sense to me that they would have to go that
Here,
like.
do you wanna pull up, like the bylaw document?
So I'm assuming I would be
This is
like,
not the.
Just so we can make these.
if I were to be.
Oh, I see what you
Another-
mean. Yes, we can.
Hmm?
Yes, we can.
Another.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, DC. I think, but yeah, I think it would make sense to me that PBT has to go through the same, like the normal impeachment process.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I would have to be impeached and then voted on again to
Yeah.
kick me out by the,
Exactly.
like the senators.
Do we have to vote on that separate if it's a bylaw?
Well, no, because we're editing
Um,
this.
I mean, we're in the general discussion mode,
Yeah.
so,
On these,
Because that was just an error.
yeah, I'll at least like, I'll put a red thing, I'll put a cross through it until we vote at the end.
or you can make a copy of the chart here.
I've got
Well,
4 more.
could we just take that out and then
well, we're at least working it for the time.
I would say
being,
just
so
highlight it
it's
in
not
red.
red.
Because that just automatically means like, get rid.
Okay, what was the next one?
Alright, the next one is 500.2. I wanted to just double check that it was an accurate list of schools now that we've separated dance. I just wanted to clarify with
Oh.
everyone.
That's
Oh,
at
wait,
the
that's
bottom
what's
line.
really good.
So,
Those schools, are those accurate?
Since currently.
Oh, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
This,
Okay.
because the school of dance is also broken into 2 schools. It's the school of commercial dance and the
Right.
school of
Now, yeah.
classic.
Okay, so currently it's still technically the Conservatory of Performing Arts. That technically would go into effect next school year.
Mm.
So for the time being, it's technically still Proton, but I mean, that's something that we could probably make a note of, that at the
Will be
next school
going
year
into
that it's
effect.
separated
Oh, because it's not officially.
School of Theater
back yet.
and Animation and School of Dance.
So are we gonna have to
Or next
We'll
year's.
pro-
Next year, re-edit it.
I think so.
So about this, the conservatory is still the school. Brown School of Business has things like the School of Management and like the School of,
So
I don't know,
the schools are conservatory.
So, it's so like, but these are our overarching schools. They
Yes.
all represent like multiple different things, but like, I don't think it's necessary to go into detail about like all these things because they operate under one large umbrella.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are all the umbrellas?
Yes.
Got
Yeah. So technically, the conservatory is not changing. It's just separated into two schools. It's still under the roof of the conservatory.
They're essentially departments.
Because they'll still be
For all
called
intents and
FOPA, right?
purposes. Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the school dance is in effect right now. I know it doesn't like officially start until the new school year, but people are currently auditioning for it. And like with our Instagram, like dance changed their name to school dance, and our dean has been referring to it as a school dance.
Oh, true.
As of this new semester.
We could confirm things.
I'm just, do we wanna list the schools, or do we wanna list the conservatories, you know what I mean? Because some of these are schools and some of these are conservatories, does it matter? Let's talk about it.
I think.
I
I think.
I was just gonna say, I think the schools in question are like more like departments instead of like actual schools. Like, cause like I know like you said within Round, like you've like the school of like SAEM or whatever, like specifically for like SAEM majors and stuff like that. But it's like just breaking down the departments more, cause then that would just make this really long, cause then we would have to like list every single one.
I think
Riley.
Why do we need to list them out at all when it already says
Any.
from any? Yeah.
I agree with that.
Oh, that's also true. It says any, so it doesn't matter.
I think that honestly, it's just more confusion.
Yeah, if anything.
I-
it's more complicated.
I don't think it's complicated at all.
Okay. We know what school it is, but in 10 years, will they?
It's a really clock.
Guys, I'd just like to point out that
Okay. I mean, we can get rid of the list because I mean it does still
It says any.
state as well as candidates from any class or school. And so that is, I guess, the most basic all encompassing so I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I think it's just really a list of examples, just so people like understand what they're referring to. But if people would prefer,
why don't
we
you
can-
just put etc. on the end and just be like.
Just in case we're missing anything.
Yeah, just like if,
next year, we don't
just
even know if
for
it's
example,
like this, we're
and
gonna have
then
to keep
etc.
updating this list every year. We should just get rid of it. Like Riley said.
Senator Dixon.
Could just say which may include.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Could just say which may include and then say the list. So that it gives weight to that, because also when using it to just be from any class or school, schools are pretty like loose term that can also refer to other institutions.
Right.
So I think cutting everything out is too confusing, but I don't think we should be running on semantics of what's gonna happen in 10 years, because the school might not even exist.
No, this is exactly what we're talking about right now. We need to ensure that this is correct for the future of our organization. That's exactly what this is for.
Organization, you should also go through and change the information as
Senator Bizga.
Why don't we just slap an etc. on there, let everyone be happy, and just be civil? Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love.
We're allowed to
disagree.
Well, I know.
Treasurer Geary.
Can I offer removing the list and adding within Point Park University to the after school? So that clarifies the concept
As well
of
as candidates
institutions.
from any class or school.
That's straightforward, I think
That's straightforward, that's basic, it's about the most umbrella term.
I'm gonna make this all red until the final vote. And I'll put within the university.
What was the next one?
500.5 we talked about last week, and it's missing Riley's sentence.
Yes, yes.
Yes. What
Oh,
was
yeah.
Here, you have the constitution still pulled up.
Let me pull it up. I think I still have it.
Right, you're the one who
I mean, we voted on that. We can't not have one in there.
still some gist, but we just fixed it.
Right. And I feel comfortable. I'm just gonna put that in since we already voted on that
Yeah.
one. Once we have pulled that.
Appendix A has that we will be assigned to a committee twice, both in week 3 and in week 2. If it already happened in week 2, it doesn't need to be included in week 3, so we can just delete that line.
Appendix.
Yeah, so in week 2 it says that we will be,
Scroll down. Right there.
There. So week 2 it says we will all be appointed to a committee, and then in week 3 it says we will all be appointed to a committee. So in week 3, we don't need to be appointed, we already did.
It's also,
Oh, that's a
mine is-
university
it's a step-
standing committee.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are they,
that's different.
what's different?
That is different. It's
Kyle, you
something.
wanna talk about that?
Yeah, it's something that we haven't really had the opportunity to do, but
Something hard.
yeah, it's something Mark did, and I will do what I can to get that started up. If people are interested, I can try to see if we can get it re-up and running again. It is an opportunity for students to enter certain university standing committees that meet irregularly to.
Like administrative ones?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't really. I've tried to get some information on those this semester, and I think with just all of the transition stuff, it's been hard to get information on when they're actually meeting. But if it's something students are still interested in, it's something I want to give people the opportunity for. I have it somewhere.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah,
but
I can talk to you about it later. But it's like they have like an undergraduate one, a curriculum one, yeah.
Then the language of this seems like it is implied that it is going to happen, whereas I think that right now it is more optional.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it does say shall join ordinance.
Yeah, it sounds
So
like
there is since it's correlation.
Oh yeah, like
Yes.
join like you can if you want to. It's your choice.
Be introduced to the idea.
informed of standing committees
Yeah.
and given the opportunity to participate in.
Or like maybe just
members
change
of the legislative
shall to
body.
may
May
join.
May join or be assigned to a committee.
Here you go.
Does that work? Do people feel comfortable with
Yeah,
May?
may,
May.
that doesn't change anything.
May as in like.
Like it's
Shall
optional,
may
it's
or
in the air.
Yeah.
May is in like
Shall
Shall
it-
contains more
Shall,
certainty.
I feel like shall and may are synonyms.
well, shall join just sounds like
Okay.
Yeah.
Will.
I feel like may is
may
like
join is a bit more.
Okay.
possibly.
Well then, can we erase be assigned, because that sounds like it's mandatory. May join a university standing committee.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's what I was like.
Isn't that what it just
Oh.
I thought it was like may be
Beautiful.
the option of them being assigned is still available.
Yeah,
This
wait,
one-
can I just wanted to go back to that, so, cause I think that the disconnect was that, like, again, like Kyle said, with everything up in the air, like, it was just hard to get on these, and those of you who are in student government, I know we did that last year, and it wasn't optional, everyone was assigned, because they gave us like 10
Yeah.
things, so everyone was on them, so I think the May, like, you might be assigned to it, I think is what that was,
Right.
because it wasn't, they weren't all optional.
They were.
like,
Yeah. It was. Sorry, Robert.
No, just to piggyback off that, I was assigned because I forgot to inform. So Mark gave me a specific role. So I do think that incorporating like the or may be assigned, because like that is still a possibility. Although it's not happening right now, it did happen in the
did
past
May
to
be
me.
assigned, yeah.
Instead of changing the language of the deadlines column, can we just change the special notes column to say established, like the other ones down there do?
If established. Okay. That actually is like the perfect.
Yeah.
That's actually exactly what that.
Fire.
That's what that column's for.
Yeah. That's actually perfect.
That was really that's a good one.
It's a good catch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we wanna keep it how it was then?
And then just have.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
That's actually yeah.
What was
Perfect.
the next one you were talking about?
I don't like the phrasing of 603.1.
That's
Okay.
We have the authority to allocate funds to student organizations and clubs, but then who has the responsibility to allocate to student organizations and clubs? If we only have the authority, we don't have the responsibility.
I think the idea is SGA has the position of authority as like a student elected like group. It's sort of like what gives us, like, if a hate group wanted to form on campus and students felt particularly strongly, especially representatives, that it shouldn't happen, they are within their authority to refuse to and those organizations would of course have the option to appeal, but like we would have the authority to give or not give them funds that we are given.
It also claims that we have 11% of the money collected by the student activity fee. Is that still accurate this year?
11%.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a lasting thing. I mean, we don't, but it's not really
Right.
exactly divulged to everyone.
As far as we're aware.
We know that our amount went down, but we don't know why. Do we were given less money than we have been in the past? Is that because our percentage changed, or because?
Where'd you get that information?
Yes, I said, where was that release? Because we've been waiting for it.
If that's inaccurate, I would like to strike that from the record.
I would say, because my records operate off the same number that we had last year, which is reflective of the student activity.
Then I was working off of incorrect information.
Cool. Yeah. We're I mean, it's what is accurate. I can confirm with the family that that is still the case, and if not, we can change it, but that might be a separate instance.
We can, yeah. So we'll work to ensure that is still up to date. But as far as we're
I'll stop by.
yeah. But as far as we are aware, that is still the up to date information.
You had
What?
you did.
No,
I thought you had
don't, no, no. Put your hands down.
You okay? You had your hand up.
Actually, the only thing I really, this is more of a general note, is the only thing that stuck out to me was the highlight this from DI graphic design coordinator. That's it. One thing else,
Wait, which one?
oh, okay, I hope this gets to the point. One of the things, I don't think it's in the bylaws, it's actually a separate discussion, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things that I discussed with people who are at OSGS is the possibility of like moving the responsibility from DI of doing the multicultural fest, because since the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging is currently up and running, we can put that onto the school shoulders, so putting it like on us.
We are going, we're not gonna specify any sort of event that an executive cabinet member wants to do, just in case that wants to either be a collaborative effort or they don't have the time to put it on. We don't want it to just like, you are required to do this event like this, that it's a bit more open.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The big one we talked about like in our meeting with GC and Keeley was like if there's another pandemic and we can't have school for any reason, we'll not have the ability to put on those events, and in which case any club that had events, including us, in their constitution is in violation of their constitution.
Okay.
And I'm doing that for any individual.
Okay, beautiful.
Not specifying any event, because we never specified.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, sure.
I was kind of like,
Any other questions about this huge ass document that y'all wanted to ask?
how are you doing this?
How are
Maybe
you?
mentally.
Well, I've been working on this since December,
Yeah.
and I typed up this whole document.
I would just like to say, on
Yes.
behalf of everyone here, and everyone here, you better agree with me, we are proud of you for
Thanks.
all of this work you've put in.
Everyone's
You are an honest work team.
Thanks, Lisa.
I want everyone to be aware that by this point last year, Arden was already parliamentarian. We had gone through 3 parliamentarians.
Literally.
Woo!
That's crazy.
I've been here forever.
Do not recite this roast. She was there when they were doing this.
Okay, so, should we like quickly go through what we marked in red? Just,
Did we add Riley's sentence back?
It started
We
in the
did it.
200.
Did you pull it up?
We need to
I
add Riley's
didn't
sentence.
find it. I
It started
emailed it
with-
to Dylan,
it started
but that
with
is
the
on
president
my
of town
fucking
Then Riley sent
Outlook.
500 something.
It was 201.3
Yeah, right.
and 500.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
And then the appendix, and that's it.
Okay, here.
And we're just like,
You have
Bye, Drew. Bye, Drew.
oh yeah.
Here, you have Riley's, because I have the,
Send that email to Kyle. He's on it.
schools.
Where? It was something about this.
So we have the big elections.
my bad. I
Is that gonna be a
sent it
fire?
to
That's
myself.
gonna be a 500.
Yeah,
did send it to Dylan.
I
Is it
sent it to
500?
Dylan,
Right
yeah.
There
here?
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. 500. Any student who has served in the Student Government Association as a senator, senator at large, or executive cabinet member for at least one semester or who has held a leadership role in the Business Club at the Park University or another university for at least one semester shall be eligible to run for and hold the office of principal or vice.
Send that to
You're gonna have to repeat that.
I was just gonna say,
One of the
first word.
Here, if
I
you
was
still-
literally like, right.
Here, if you still,
Where are we at?
if you still have the Constitution pulled out, copy and paste it.
Oh yeah, it should be on the Constitution.
Do you have? Pull out the Constitution.
You,
Ah!
you would know where the That's your email. I was like, let me get in. I don't know it.
Yeah, pull out the Constitution.
Copy and paste.
That makes like.
I was like getting ready to type, and I was like,
No.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Lost you
expect
after the first word.
I didn't expect you to type that quickly.
Well, I was literally trying to find where to put the like the key anyway. I was like, where should I start?
Where am I starting this?
After
Should be under the.
The dark red was like hard to see. I was like,
Body. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah. If we want to.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Or who has held.
Oh, there it is.
Just copy paste the whole thing.
Copy paste the whole
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh, is that
bank
the
wording is
whole-
different, so just copy
Bylaws, and then I would say remove candidates running for president, vice president, and then right after that. Because it explains people running for the vice president and president, and then what we said.
Yeah.
And then change to can be any student.
Any student who has
Served in student
Yeah.
town, National
Cut.
Bank, Park
Yeah.
University,
Cut
South
off
Base, and Park University.
at the second one semester.
Yeah.
There you go.
Where?
Sorry, grammar.
No, you're good.
There we go. Fix that.
Alright, she's pretty.
So this section with the schools, are we wanting to
Yes, I mean,
scratch the list and have it just say as well as candidates from any class or school within the university?
Yeah.
That seems
'Cause then
pretty
that
just-
straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
so are you guys cool with me
scratch.
just erasing this?
Yeah. Scratch that.
Just make sure you put a period on there.
Not in that.
Erase the
order.
period.
That'd be
Not
red.
in that
Red.
order.
There we go.
And
Fuck
there
the
was
period,
one-
get rid of it.
I think
That's
there-
period.
I think there was one more red.
There was.
Somewhere in there.
Did we go to the one in
I
the
think it was
200? 200? I remember seeing it was something about
Yeah,
me.
it was your,
I remember it was about me,
red.
that's why.
He can ask you.
Yeah, I can get it.
Yeah.
So
you
do
know.
I just erase this then?
No,
Because
one
everyone-
person, you can't say that to her.
like everyone else can get hacked except me.
6'4", by the way.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Okay, guys, now let's vote that.
Oh. Yes, grammar.
Commit a microaggression.
Space.
Oh, put a space.
I see it, I'm trying.
Written that other so grammatically.
Whoa.
Between at will and craft design.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
What is
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Alright, I think that's it. I think that's it. It should
Okay, I'm just gonna go to the top and scroll to the
be.
bottom.
Go ahead.
Let us see if we see
And
any
I'm
red
gonna-
or anything.
Any spacing errors, I'm gonna fix that.
Okay, starts here. Table of contents looks pretty. Introduction looks pretty.
Pretty, looking good.
Now we're
Another
starting
round
with the
of applause.
actual documentation.
You want to so badly.
Yeah,
Don't
we need
I?
executive
I mean,
council.
it's almost 4:30. I don't blame you.
I have to
Hey,
go.
we have until 5. We stay until 5.
See?
Now
We
we're
may stay until
That's
five.
how
to keep us warm.
We are committed to this time period. We stay until this time.
I may.
Unless
Are we
we're
allowed to
dismissed.
object to any motion to adjourn and like create a debate
Now we're
about it?
appendixes.
Because I have the opportunity to do something really funny right now.
That's
Alright,
everything.
so, motion.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the bylaws?
With his
You
life.
need a lot of
With every bone in my
There's
body.
the, okay, a
Approve.
second for that.
So,
Alright, take it to a vote, all of those in favor?
Everybody put your hands up.
Any
don't have to put
opposed?
your hands
Abstention?
sorry, no, I
You gotta get your
Any abstentions?
Don't accuse me of that.
Oh wait, I can vote. Oh god, I haven't been voting this entire time, I forgot I can vote. 'Cause I'm up here.
Well, you're up there with a hammer.
Well, I say yes to everything. So that is now 10, including me.
Hey.
So that makes it a 10-0 vote, and it is approved. Alrighty, after that is done. Now that new business is done, second open floor. No one has anything.
Close
Oh.
the floor. What? What?
It's actually a very
Close
long
the
speech
goddamn
I've been wanting to give.
I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Yeah, close the goddamn floor.
Oh, I have one thing. I won my competition
lied.
this weekend.
I
That was just That was it.
I was just doing a bit. I
Okay,
thought it was funny. If you
Period.
didn't,
Now let's
well,
close
you're not
the
the target
floor.
audience.
We have an
Sorry.
announcement.
I am.
I have an announcement.
Close the floor.
Oh wait.
I'm gonna say
so you-
603
No, I'm waiting
in
for the
West Penn.
announcement section.
Oh, you're so true.
I
Close the
didn't.
floor.
I
That is
can't
the end of
reserve
the
it
second
because I
floor.
need
Moving
2
on
weeks
to announcements. Any announcements?
Now that we're in the announcement section, we can announce things that are not related to SGA. Point Park Tabletop RPG Club will officially be having its first meeting on February 17th at 5:30 p.m.
Let's go.
in Academic Hall Room 301. We finally got it approved.
Let's
Yay!
go.
This is a point of clarification. What are you guys doing on your first meeting?
First meeting will be mostly a form night. We have a super long consent form to fill out that is super comprehensive content warnings, trigger warnings, etc., etc. We also have a form to get schedules, pronouns, etc., etc. So your utility campaign level of experience, we can properly match campaigns together because we have 39 people in Point Sync signed up for the club.
Nice.
We are going to need multiple different campaigns running. 39 people is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you on Western March.
Yeah. I'm currently in the process of trying to put together a club with Faith Dorinsky. We're trying to teach people how to do self-defense. So if you're interested in
Wait, how to do what? I'm sorry.
self-defense,
Oh,
so we're going to be doing boxing and other forms of martial arts. I mean, we could discuss that if there was interest in that. But we're calling it. Could I finish my announcement, maybe? Is that allowed?
Guys, one person, please. Thank you.
But I'm really excited for it. But I'm looking for members to get it off the ground. We need 10 members to start it. So if anyone's interested, please contact me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are Twain and Unleaving is still staying active?
Oh my. What my feelings would
Just
be
kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Any more announcements?
Yeah.
Are there any more announcements?
Please let me
Riley?
First Yamiko Socialist meeting is on Friday at 4 o'clock, tentatively in West Bend 603, assuming nobody else has it. I don't know. But you should still come.
Okay.
Are there any more announcements for today?
I really would like to get food after this if anyone's hungry.
Yeah.
We need to have a one-on-one anyways.
Are there
I'm
any
so
more
sorry
announcements?
if I
3,
forgot to
2,
keep
1,
it this
going
schedule
once,
one-on-one.
going twice? No.
Slam the hammer.
Well, I was gonna do that when I adjourned the meeting.
Yeah, but you can do it more than once.
Let's go one step down.
Okay, I'll do that for attention. Our next legislative body meeting will be February 10th, 2025. Is this going to be in here, or is that going to be?
Hopefully if we are.
Yeah, fingers
I was gonna say,
fingers
hopefully in the
crossed, we'll be back in our normal location for our
PCRC.
Hopefully in the PCRC.
Alrighty, and with that, if there's nothing else for today, our meeting is adjourned.
Yay!